Hi, and welcome to yet another one a day dose for the letter U. It's very interesting that we've reached a time like this. We are about to wind up our daily dose alphabet, and it's becoming a daily ritual. We pick a letter, talk about its impact in the COVID world, and talk about the same letter in an inspiration to keep you going. Technically speaking, today is going to be rather interesting. We're going to talk about UV light, and you're going to talk about UV light with respect to how UV light is used in the disinfection and cleaning in places of surfaces, hotel rooms, the works, so that those places can be COVID free. Its UV light is also used a lot to disinfect buses and public transports very rapidly, but we need to find out what UV light is about and why. So let's get started. UV light is a component of the electromagnetic spectrum that falls in the region between visible light and X-rays. Its unit is Newton meters and ranges from 100 Newton meters to 400 Newton meters. There are four categories. Between 100 and 200 Newton meters is known as the far UV or the vacuum UV, and it only propagates in a vacuum. Between 200 Newton meters and 280 Newton meters is UVC, which will be the subject of today's conversation, which is useful for disinfection and sensing. From 280 to 315 Newton meters is UVB, which is useful for curing, like curing tobacco maybe. It's a light that is useful for curing, ripening things, and also for medical applications. And lastly, between 315 and 400 Newton meters is UVA or near UV, which is useful for printing, curing, lithography, sensing, and medical applications. In lithography, it's used to expose printing plates. I have worked in a press, and I have used UV light to expose printing plates so that you can have offset printing. That's another subject for another day. It's very interesting, the effects of UV light, and I want to specify why we use UVC light for disinfection. And there's a wonderful article I will add on this, which gives you a infographic style. It's from the Clarion University. It's a very easy way to understand UV light and its benefits. And today, why do we use UVC? Because UVC is direct from the sun, and no measurable amount of UVC from the sun reaches the Earth's surface. It's entirely used up in space. Because of the spectral sensitivity of DNA, only UVC region demonstrates significant germicidal properties. That's why UVC is used. And the effect and how it does it, it's all in that article. Now, what's the other U? You might ask. I'm titling it Uncharted. COVID pandemic has put us in a very uncharted situation. We have all this technology, all this science, and nothing ever comes to fruition as fast as we would like. Nothing is instant. We are in uncharted waters where there is plenty of food but nobody to work, where economies are dipping while everything else points to growth, while people are getting poorer, yet there is plenty. It's not a mass starvation which requires aid. It's a global pandemic that has forced people to change the way they live and moved them into uncharted waters, uncharted territory, uncharted thinking, uncharted areas of life. Now, what's the definition of uncharted? It means an area of land or sea or space that has not been mapped or surveyed. I mean, if the mappers don't know it, then it's uncharted. That's more or less how I look at it. You are in uncharted waters right now. You're forced to stay home. Your kids don't go to school as they should. You're forced to teach them. There are new openings for different things to keep them busy. You have work scheduling and titling, and everything about work has changed. Now, no more sitting in the office. You have Zoom sessions. And even if you're in an office, you socially distance. These are terms like social distancing, sanitizing, what else? A quarantine, self-isolation, self-quarantine. all these terms, which were just bywords in our normal language and vocabulary, have now taken center stage because we are in uncharted waters. We are in uncharted land, in uncharted space, in uncharted thoughts. But I take my cues from the Bible every single day. And I found someone somewhere who was on a journey to an uncharted place. And when he was given the reason why he has to go, it encouraged me to share it with you. Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 to 3. Abram journeys to Egypt. Now in Haran, the Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country and from your relatives and from your father's house to a land which I will show you." Now, if God tells you to go to a land he will show you, it means it's uncharted. At least to you, it's uncharted. You don't know anything about it. You have no idea where it is. And it's God who's saying, I'm going to show it to you. Okay. And what does he say after that? He says, "And I will bless you abundantly and make your name great, exalted, distinguished. And you shall be a blessing, a source of great good to others. And I will bless, do good for benefit those who bless you. And I will curse, that is, subject to my wrath and judgment, the one who curses, despises, dishonors, and has contempt for you. And in you all the families of nations and the earth will be blessed." And it goes on to say, so Abram obeyed the Lord. And it says, so Abram departed in faithful obedience as the Lord had directed him, and Lot his nephew with him. And it goes on to show all the journeys that Abraham did. Abram, at that time he was not Abraham, he was Abram. What does that mean? Sometimes when you are going in uncharted waters, it's good to realize that if you hold on to your faith and follow where God is leading you, you will be a blessing to many. I trust that this channel, which has been covering COVID-19 from when it started, very early on, I think in late March or early April, we've been covering COVID-19 for long, talking about everything. And I know that for some people, this has been a blessing. It has been a chance for them to interact with someone who's not speaking medical jargon, but is telling them in the right way, guys, this is the way, walk in it. Many of our suppositions have been proved right. We are healthy and we are strong, and we are doing all we can to keep ourselves from infection. Can we get infected? Yes. Can it be lethal? Yes. But you know what? Let's keep the faith. Because after this journey where God shows us where we are going, we will be a blessing. He will bless us. He will increase us. He will cause us to be a change factor in this nation. And that's why from the very beginning, the hashtag was beating COVID-19. Not by power, not by politics, not by scientific breakthrough, but just by faith, standing with the word of God as we travel these uncharted, unbound, unbordered areas. I don't have many subs, and I'll say it now. I would like you to think about how far this channel has taken you and subscribe. Subscribe, and that subscription will be helpful because you will begin the process of changing. You will see all the videos that I have done before, and you will see the way we've covered this subject from the beginning. And you will begin to understand that we are beating COVID-19, and we're going to come out of this safe, sound, and blessed. Tonight's a bit long, but I trust that you are blessed in this day, and that as you start the week, the first dose of encouragement is that we are beating COVID-19 and we are in uncharted territories. So have faith, God will see you through. God bless you.